Hello traders, hope you're doing well and happy Sunday. I'm making this video to give a brief explanation on auto harmonic patterns ultimate, the new script which we released yesterday, and we're getting good response already and getting a lot of queries for trial access and subscriptions. We also got some of the feedbacks and made some changes according to the feedbacks, and overall we're getting good response. I'm really happy and excited about that. So in this video, what we'll do, we'll try to explain the major differences between V2 and V2 and the Ultimate version, which many people asked me in the comments and also in the chat. Um, and then we'll go to the Ultimate script and try to explain a bit further on that and how to make use of that in the trades. Similar to V2, the Ultimate script is also co-owned by myself and CryptoArk. We both have worked extensively from last 2-3 months on developing this and improving this performance and everything. And hope you like it and hope you make lots of money with it. And let's get started. So coming to the differences. The visibly you can see that there are major lot of differences between these two scripts. But with respect to core differences, the very first thing is now we have improved or we have rewritten whole logic of scanning patterns in the new script, which is more efficient and which is also more accurate. And we also used some of the Pine 5 features, such as libraries. I've written a few libraries for zigzags and TA, enhanced TA, and super trend, and I've made use of all those things in this script. It actually doesn't directly impact the performance, but it makes our life easy to write the code and where it abstracts a lot of things in the libraries, so we can think clearly and develop better solutions. Um, Other things, other point 5 related things such as while loop just helped us a lot. Before in the V2 version, we were using for loops, which are like, scanning through all the combinations. But here we can selectively choose which combination we want to check for pattern. Hence, it reduces the iterations, number of iterations we carry on, and hence enhances the performance a bit. And then the second major difference is zigzags. As you see here, there are multi-level zigzags which we have used, 3 by 2, 5 by 2. That's been removed in the next version. That's mainly because in our testing, we thought that the multi-level zigzags are a bit inconsistent, especially for pattern recognition. Since a lot of last pivot is kind of ready paints most of the time, so the multi-level zigzags it becomes a bit tricky to identify the patterns accurately. So we thought of removing that completely and adding more iterations to the existing base zigzags, which I think has worked pretty good. Um, and one thing which for which I had received a lot of query in the last version is this wait for confirmation and ignore if entry crossed. So wait for confirmation is mainly used. It was mainly used like to you form the pattern or show the pattern only after getting the confirmation signal. That means like only after price has moved up a little bit. But CryptoArk has convinced me that we should not be using that. We should be using the real time values and not the delayed signal, which is not how harmonic patterns work. So, which I completely understand now, and our new implementation is conform to this. And the search depth, if you see in the previous script, the search depth used is max depth is 11. That means that every zigzag here will look for last 11 pivots to scan the required patterns. But here instead, what we are doing is instead of having a constant 11 or 12 for all individual patterns, what we are doing is in an incremental way. The zigzag 5, the first zigzag will scan 40 patterns and the 40 pivots. Second zigzag will scan 30 pivots. third will scan 20 pivots, and fourth will scan 10 pivots. This is made intentionally because the higher zigzag numbers, we don't actually need to scan too many pivots back, because it will just generate too many big, harmonic patterns, which may not be useful for trading. So we thought of keeping it to the, what is actually required. You can act, if you change the setting, and if you use 21 here, what it will do is, it will search 40 per watch for 21, but again, then it will not generate good results for you. So it's better to keep the lower zigzag lengths in the beginning and higher zigzag lengths towards the end. Okay, the next difference is optimized target and trailing. So we have come up with individual targets and trailing for each patterns. We've gone through like studied each patterns and come up with targets which are more suitable for each pattern. So that's applicable, by default. In case if your trading plan says that you want to use certain particular different level of target levels, what you can do is you can override these default values, and can pick what target levels you want from the drop down here. So this is actually same as before, but only thing is, we have we've done more research on individual target and trading levels in our new script. Okay, so this entry level and entry ratio, entry level, and all these things are removed. The box, what we see here, the box which is generated again based on our calculations, which is specific to each patterns. Okay, so the next major difference is pattern selection. So here there are only single option here. You can just select individual patterns if you want to use them or not use them. So there are a bit of variety provided here in our new script. You can select individual patterns, which is same as before. If you select individual, then whatever you select here will reflect on the chart. And otherwise, you can also select patterns based on classic and anti-patterns. So in case if you want to disable all these classic patterns, instead of disabling them individually, what you do is go to this and then uncheck this classic patterns. Uncheck this anti-patterns if you want to disable all anti-patterns. And the last type is type based, type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are more explanation given in the description and also in this tooltip here. These are mainly for trades, harmonic trades, which are done in conjunction with elite waves. If you are new to harmonic patterns, maybe ignore this completely and use the basic or individual classic anti levels. Right, and different options for pattern selection, that's done. Okay, the next major difference is the support and resistance levels. If you see this widget here, this was not there in the previous version. So what it does is it's actually based on my other script, which is dynamic support and resistance based on divergence. So the same logic here, but instead of applying it on one zigzag, we have applied it on all four zigzags, and we have collected support levels and resistance level here. uh, this will actually, initially we thought it will visually help traders to take whether to trade or not. But for example, this is a bearish trade, but if you see this here, there's only one resistance, and also there are a lot of support here. This may not be a good idea to take this trade, even though the price has come down now. Yeah, so similar decisions you can make based on this information which is available here. But in my last update, I've also integrated with the script. For example, you can use this setting, SR filtering. If you select this one, what happens is the bullish signals are taken only if number of support levels are more than number of resistance level, and bearish signals are taken if number of resistance levels are more than number of support levels. So you can also tweak a little bit, and if it is zero, that's how it works. And you can tweak a little bit and increase the value. If you increase the value, it means that it becomes the pattern selection criteria becomes harder, and it will select very lesser and lesser patterns, but it may also yield better outcome with respect to win-loss ratio and risk reward. And if you reduce it further, and if you can actually make it till -100 to +100. Minus, if you make it -100, it means that as good as not selecting this. So if you make it +100, it means that uh, it's only very few patterns are selected, only in a confirmed uptrend, or only if there are no resistance, then it will select the bullish patterns. Only if there are no support, it will select the bearish patterns, right? And after this, I think the remaining major differences are mainly with the stats. As you see, the closed trade stats, we've added stats for each particular pattern as well. Other than like existing bullish and bearish stats, and also zigzag based stats are as is, but we added this further. And we removed this overridden because it's almost zero everywhere, especially in this new method. In this method, it will be zero for if we don't select wait for confirmation. But if you select wait for confirmation, it may not be zero as well. But yeah, um, that's completely removed anyway. So we are not using this overridden as well. So it's just failed. Failed means it's the pattern found, but it did not hit entry and just reverse back. So it's not a failed trade. It's more of a failed pattern. And the stopped are failed trades, and rest of them are successful trades. So as you see, that risk reward ratio has been increased very much. It's like almost 1:3 here. And if you see here, it's almost 1:2. So you can see that we have done like a lot of improvements with respect to win loss ratio in our new scripts. And we have tested this across multiple instruments, and a lot of random instruments, a lot of time frames as well. And it's pretty consistent, and we are very happy with this outcome so far. And with respect to open trades, the other stats table is open trades. You can see that the layout is different. But apart from layout, this is horizontal, yeah, this is vertical, this one is horizontal. Apart from the layout, I think made a few more changes where we have added risk reward ratio, and what is the percentage with respect to entry, how much percentage has to move up to get to this level, and all these things. That will give an idea to the trader on what they're getting into. Yeah, we already discussed this part of the stats, which is support and resistance. And that's all about the differences between V2 and Ultimate versions. Um, okay, and then let's get deep into the V Ultimate version now. Let me do one thing. I'll remove this and I'll add from the beginning. I'll remove this. So in order to add this pattern or add this indicator to your chart, you just need to search for Trendoscope, which is our business name, and add this. So it will ask for a key. If you are a trial user, you don't actually need this key. This key is only required for subscribers. It's mainly useful for alerts, or if you're using the indicator on a same chart and a same instrument without refreshing for more than 30 bars, right? So otherwise, what you can do is just select apply, and it will add it to your chart. So there is no difference in the functionality. So the with or without key, whatever it shows on that chart will be same, right? So if you select 1 hour time frame, this will run for 30 hours without any disturbance, and then it will stop working, right? That if you do not have a particular key, or if you do not have access key required for your access. Otherwise, yeah, it's not really, problematic, because nobody will sit on the computer for 30 years. We'll switch off and come back and then refresh and all these things. So it's not really a problem, but it will impact alerts, because alerts will also run as adding a script to the chart. So alerts will not run after 30 hours. So we'll not be able to use alerts if you don't have the key. So that's the main purpose of doing this, so that people who do not have subscription will not be able to use alerts. But on a trial, you'll be able to use the script without using the alerts. Right, so once you add it to the chart, rest of things as explained. Here is the close trade stats, open trade stats, and then the support resistance levels, the patterns which are formed comes up here with target entry, stop, and target levels which comes up here. Um, and this part, like some of the target levels will be shown as small. That's deliberately done as well. If the target level is already crossed, then it will be the size of this will be minimized. This is so that it's once it's crossed insignificant, you need to concentrate on the next target levels. So you can forget about this, but the data stats is still there. So that's the reason behind doing this. It's not a defect or it's not mistakenly done. Yeah. Um, yeah, and let's get into the settings and see what else needs to be explained. Search depth we already gone through. Error percent we already know. Zigzag lengths it's same as before. Target states and trailing states we already explained this. Pattern selection type we already explained. Trade direction you can actually filter your trades based on long and short as well. So if you want to look at only bullish signals, just add use long so that it will only give bullish patterns. If you use short, then it will only give bearish patterns. So, and then the pattern selection that's already done. Support resistance. This again, as mentioned before, it's a zigzag divergence based support resistance. So I also have another script for support and resistance based on divergence. That's it's similar logic. So you can use your choice of oscillator for calculating the divergence, or you can also use external oscillator for doing the same thing. And then the max zigzag is for calculating the support and resistance, it will for each zigzag, it will take 10 support and last 10 support and resistance level. So since there are four zigzags, you can see always this number adds up to 40 because 10 for each. Okay, and the max stats is how many stats you want to show here. You can increase this. Right now it's set to 5, that's why it's only showing 5 support levels. If you make it 10, it will show 10 support levels here. Right, and then stats and display, it's same as before. You can choose to disable some of the display tables if you don't want. If you have a small screen, you don't want to see closed trades, open trades, because all this information present here. You can just uncheck these options so that it won't come up in your chart, and it will free up your chart space. And show XABCD targets and ratios. They're all the display based on the chart level what we show in the charts. If you don't want to see any of the specific things, you can disable them. With respect to alerts, again, this is you can choose what kind of alert you want. If you want to be alerted only on the new pattern, you can select this and rest unselect both of the other options, and so on. And the alert formats, I do not have any alerts stored right now, but I've already mentioned in the description. The alert formats are in JSON format, so that it can help you in plugging in this to trading board and using it for automatic trading. Right, and that's all for today from my side. And I hope you enjoyed this video and hope you make use of this indicator to do better trades and hope you all successful trading. Thanks very much.